Good evening, you're watching your primetime news here on TV1 with me, Deshan Gonawala.
And me, Nicola Dizaiza. Here are your headlines.
SP Disanayaka says government will collapse in May if the provincial council elections aren't held before then. Vijay Kala displeased with Prime Minister Ranil Wickramasinghe. Media censorship to be brought in through the back door. Police officer shot in Kadawatha during drug bust. Do not consider positions when enforcing environmental laws and laws against narcotics. Strict instructions from the President. Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne accorded highest honours in Pakistan.
On our top story, a police officer was injured in a shooting that occurred this evening.
A scuffle between a police officer and a person suspected of possessing heroin resulted in an accidental discharge of the officer's firearm. The officer was injured in his arm and admitted to hospital. Police said it was tipped that a person in a three-wheeler was in possession of heroin and a raid took place, which resulted in an arrest. When he was to be taken to the police office, the suspect had tussled with the police officer, which resulted in an accidental discharge. The 22-year-old suspect was arrested for the possession of 10 grams of heroin. His mother, wife and child who were inside the three-wheeler at the time were also taken into police custody.
Now, the brother of the owner of the SUV in which 68 kilos of Kerala ganja was discovered in was arrested by the police. Police stated that the driver of the SUV had fled the scene following the accident.
The vehicle, which was travelling towards Panchikavatta, had crashed into this pavement. The driver of the vehicle fled the scene. Afterwards, the police arrived and found a large stock of Kerala ganja. While the accident took place early this morning, a witness of the accident expressed the following views to Newsfirst.
We heard a loud noise. The man got down from the vehicle and stopped a green three-wheeler. He was dressed in a red shirt with a pair of black trousers. He was not that old. Once he stopped the three-wheeler, he went towards it, and then he came back to the vehicle again. He took some documents and then got into the three-wheeler again. He told us that the vehicle will be taken by the finance company and asked us to leave. We all left afterwards.
The vehicle is now in custody of the Maradana police. Police stated that approximately 68 kilos of Kerala ganja was inside the vehicle. The stock of Kerala ganja has been handed over to the Police Narcotics Bureau. Police said the owner of the SUV, a woman, is employed in the Middle East and the SUV was rented out to a hotel in Bamlapitia. Police said the man who was arrested was a custodian of the SUV. Police suspect that the vehicle obtained through lease agreements was utilized to transport Kerala ganja. The number of the vehicle plate that belonged to the SUV was WP-CAA-0611. While we searched inside the vehicle, we found 17 parcels of Kerala ganja worth approximately 7 million rupees. We obtained further information regarding the owner of this vehicle. This SUV was rented out to a vehicle renting company in Bamlapitia. The suspect had rented out the vehicle from this company on the 11th of this month. The Maradana police is conducting further investigations into this matter.
The Anuradhapura District Environmental Conference was held at the Sagar grounds in Anuradhapura under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena this morning.
The conference was organized to facilitate the social integration of the National Punurudaya Environmental Conservation Program. The report, which includes identified environmental issues within the Anuradhapura district and applicable solutions for them, was presented to President Maithripala Sirisena by the Anuradhapura District Secretary. The distribution of plants among students, awarding of funds for a waste disposal project and the distribution of 5,000 rainwater tanks also took place in line with the event.
We learned recently that the Nochiagam police had arrested a police officer attached to the Presidential Security Division with 5.5 kilos of ganja in Anuradhapura. The drug menace has infected the security divisions as well. When the police stops the vehicle that belongs to an officer attached to the PSD, these officers show their IDs. The police officer then realizes that they are PSD officers and permit them to proceed without checking their vehicles. However, recently it was a sub-inspector who was arrested with narcotics. His wife is a sub-inspector as well. During such situations, ranks and status should not be considered. If anyone acts against drug eradication or environmental conservation, the law must be strictly enforced against them. The electric chainsaws are illegal in most countries. Importing or manufacturing electric chainsaws in those countries are prohibited as well. However, in Sri Lanka, to date, no government has looked into this matter. To my knowledge, electric chainsaws are not produced in Sri Lanka. Therefore, I hope to ban the importation of electric chainsaws. I have summoned the agents of local companies who import such products. Following discussions with them, the importation of the chainsaws will be prohibited. If this measure is not implemented, we cannot save trees in our country.
සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ගෙන්නන එක නවත්තන්න. නැත්නම් අපිට ගහක් තියාගන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ.
After obtaining the blessings of the Sri Ma Bodhi, the President visited Anuradhapura to participate in the environmental conference this morning. Afterwards, the President met with Atamasthanaadhipati, Venerable Dr. Pallegama Srinivasa Nayakathera.
Now, a meeting of the Jaffna District Development Committee was chaired by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe earlier today.
The meeting was also attended by ministers, TNA parliamentarians and state officials.
என்னன்னு சொன்னா இந்த கச்சேரியில நடக்கிற மீட்டிங்கை விட அந்த கிராமத்துல உள்ள பாடசாலையில விசிட் பண்ணி கிராமத்துல மீட்டிங் வச்சு நடத்தினா தான் உண்மையிலேயே தெரியும். அந்த ஹானரபிள் ஸ்ரீதரன் சொன்ன மாதிரி லேண்ட் மாஸ்டர்ல டெல்ஃபிலுக்கு போனது உண்மையிலே இப்ப நீங்க டெல்ஃபில லேண்ட் மாஸ்டர்ல போக மாட்டீங்க, சொப்பர்ல தான் உண்மையா போய் இறங்குவீங்க. ஆனபடியால உண்மையாவே வேற மாகாணங்களோட இது எங்கட மாகாணத்தை எடுக்க கூடாது. வடக்கு
ඒකයි අපි රාජ්‍ය ඇමතුමේ දීලා
සර් මේක වීලු කරන්න බෑ සර්. ඒක අපිට ඇත්තමට විශ්වාසයෙන් වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. ඇත්තමට එඩියුකේෂන් වයිස් තමයි යන්න ඕනේ සර්.
A group of UPFA MPs convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
මේ නැවතත් කැබිනට් එකට ඇවිල්ලා තිනවා.
A cabinet paper to give tabs to AL students and teachers has resurfaced in cabinet again. The proposal was submitted to the cabinet after the consideration of a tender procedure that was made 1 year and 3 months ago. It is very evident that unless a new tender procedure is brought, the country will have to incur a loss of 1,000 million. Every 6 months, new technology comes in, then older models depreciate. If we are going to opt for a 1 year and 2 months old tender notice, we are going to incur a loss of 700 to 800 million. Hence, if tender proposals are not called for again, 5 billion rupees will be spent at once to provide a tab worth 200,000 rupees to the students. The country will incur a minimum loss of 1 billion rupees by this tender scam.
පාඩුවක් මේ ටෙන්ඩර් මගඩියෙන් සිද්ධ වෙනවාමයි.
ව්‍යවස්ථා දායක සභාව විනිසුරුවරයන්.
When the judge of the Constitutional Assembly are promoted, they are being hunted obliviously to their seniority for political agendas. If the Supreme Court judges wants to get promoted, they need to meet the Speaker and the Prime Minister. There are the tales that circulate among the lawyers. Speaker Karujasure is the person responsible for the establishment of independent judiciaries. He was the one who used the Constitutional Assembly for his own political gain. He is the one behind this puppet show. Let's see what happens. There is talk that the provincial council elections will be held before May. If it is not going to be held, it won't be held. If that happens, we will topple the government. We will take control of the government, hold provincial council elections and go for the presidential elections. We are ready to do all of this.
Now, these are the views expressed by the chairman of the Elections Commission on the interest of appearing before courts by certain parties regarding the provincial council elections.
There is no point of having free and fair elections if it is not to be held on time. Many civil activists and political parties who talk about democracy go to court citing their own agendas, wanting elections to be held or cancelled. But at a common occasion, they do not turn up. Or like us, they must not go or go all the time. The chairman of the Elections Commission expressed these views at the 30th anniversary celebration of People's Action for Free and Fair Elections, or PAFREL. The event was held under the auspices of Speaker Karujasure. Pioneering leaders and volunteers who sacrificed towards safeguarding democratic rights in a non-profit motive in the 30 years career of PAFREL were commended for their services. The award presented for the services rendered by Capital Maharaj Organization and Chairman R. Rajamahendran was accepted by Group Director Shevan Daniels. Even to this day, the people of the country are ready to settle down in the USA. What is the difference between the two countries? Why are they leaving the country when we are in a better environment? It is the way how the country is ruled. If we are able to create a positive political atmosphere in the next decade and put an end to people leaving the country, that will be our biggest victory.
Chief of the Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne was conferred with Nishani-Imtiaz Military Medal.
Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne, who is participating at the Amman International Naval Exercise in Pakistan, received this medal from the Pakistani President Arif Alvi at a special ceremony held in Islamabad. This rare medal is the highest honour given to any civilian or military personnel in Pakistan and is the equivalent to Order of British Empire and the US Presidential Medal of Freedom. Admiral Vijay Gunaratne was awarded with an honorary degree from the University of Karachi in 1995. He is considered as an expert in asymmetric naval warfare and small boat operations and was the founder of the Naval Commando Unit of the Sri Lanka Navy Special Boat Squadron. Now, the documentary film Angam Hatana, carrying a unique theme, was released yesterday. The premiere exhibition of the film was held at the Tarangani Hall of the National Film Corporation.
The film was made to inform the world on the local identity and how Angampura served the nation as a form of martial art against invaders. The film was directed by Aruna Jayawardena. The movie features Angam fighters of the Sri Lanka Air Force, including Ajantha Mahanta Arachi, who won the Sirsa Sri Lanka's Got Talent Championship. The film is based on how Ajantha Mahanta Arachi emerged through the art of Angampura. The ceremony was graced by Minister Sajith Premadasa.
I was privileged to participate at the Gammada program recently. Usually, politicians are good at talking about what they have achieved, but I have to speak on how I failed to resolve the human-elephant conflict as a public representative in the area. That proves that Gammada is a program which has gone beyond the usual framework. I personally thank for all the efforts made in this program, which is revolutionizing and awakening.
It is because of the vision that our media organization follows. We have created a platform to showcase these talents and give those talented an opportunity. Our objective is to make positive change in our country.
I would like to proudly state that we have already laid the foundation to create a name for ourselves in the international arena by lifting the ban imposed on Angampura martial arts.
Kala Kirti Edwin Aryadasa, Professor J.B. Disanayaka and several other dignitaries attended the ceremony.
Individuals who stage demonstrations opposite media institutions clad in black with black bands are a part of this group. Employees in state media institutions such as ITN rose against internal corruption, and employees of other state institutions are continuing this trend. Once state institutions are transformed into public services, they cannot be controlled by the tune of the government. The government's next attempt is to interfere in the operations of other independent media institutions in this country. The committee that has been appointed for restructuring is comprised of several individuals who are responsible for implementing irregular measures in the past to control media. If I reveal their names, we can all recall their previous actions. So the media now has a responsibility. Will you watch and wait until they interfere, or will you act directly against the corrupt activities of this government, or will you bend down to the government and become a part of them? We witness the fate of all governments when they attempted to control and interfere with media freedom. The current government will face the same result if they attempt to control or interfere with the media. Now, taking a look at some news overseas, the fragile minority government of Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, one of the few socialist leaders left standing in Europe, could go down after Parliament rejected his budget in a fight over the restive northeastern region of Catalonia in Spain. New national elections look almost certain before the summer. Let's have a look at what happened.
Sanchez was hoping to pass a national budget to address inequality that have come with Spain's economic recovery. But Catalan lawmakers, infuriated that Sanchez has rejected holding a second referendum on Catalan independence after the first in 2017 was ruled unconstitutional, pulled their support. It was the first defeat for a Spanish government's budget since 1995. What next? With Spain's two-party system becoming more of a melange of parties and the Catalan question superheating, new elections could be politically unsettling and unpredictable. Recent polls suggest enough votes for a right-wing coalition government, which would be expected to take a much harder line on Catalonia. But Sanchez's survival instincts can't be counted out. In Sri Lanka, where the government of the day holding sway with a minority in parliament, a similar situation is in the making. On the 5th of March 2019, the first reading of the budget is due. The United National Party, with no clear majority, will clearly face a challenge and will involve their arrangement with the Tamil National Alliance. The TNA on their part have insisted that they are not in a political partnership with the UNP but will extend support when necessary.
A group of journalists launched an investigation on the illegal sand mining at the Upparu River, which is a branch of the Mahaveli River belonging to the Kenya Divisional Secretariat of Trincomalee.
Journalists made an observation tour from the upper region of the Upparu River along with the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau officials of the Trincomalee Regional Office. They spotted sand dunes in Kirathiu, Vairaveli area at the Upparu Bay. As we arrived to the locations where the sand dunes are located, the racketeers fled from those locations, especially when we observed the sand dock beside the river today. We saw a large number of sand mines and their abandoned boats. Tractors have been used for transporting sand on a large scale. They are using the riverbanks as sand docks for this purpose. Our reporters said they continue to engage in these activities day and night.
We have identified 4 places up to now near Vairaveli Savaru and Kandal Kadu Reserve. It's at these places they continue to illegally mine sand. According to the information we have received, we would like to say that we are working to ensure that illegal sand mining is discontinued by getting the assistance of the Navy Special Task Force and police teams of Trincomalee district.
Meanwhile, the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau issuing sand mining licenses in the Trincomalee district will be temporarily suspended tomorrow. Senior Director Sajana De Silva said that all licenses in the Trincomalee district would be suspended from tomorrow until the 28th of this month. He said that these measures were taken into consideration of irregular sand mining, environmental issues and illegal sand mining in the Trincomalee district. Sajana De Silva stated that a special group has been appointed to investigate the situation in the district. The team consists of Ministry of Environment, the Central Environment Authority, Coast Conservation Department and the officers of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau. 12 members of the Sri Lanka Navy were injured in a clash that took place in Trincomalee on the 29th of January when a group of illegal sand miners were arrested at the Kinya Kankadu Bridge in Trincomalee. 7 sand miners were arrested in the operation and 2 bodies of missing persons were found later.
There is no license to operate in the Mahaveli River for 2019, so there is no such thing as suspending the issuance of licenses. The licenses have not been in effect. However, transport licenses are granted. The Geological Survey and Mines Bureau issues those licenses. How can they mine sand using those licenses? Their attempt is to use this license and illegally smuggle sand to Colombo. They say that the sand license holders continue unauthorized mining. They never engage in unauthorized mining. They're still waiting for licenses. Those stories are false.
Having a look at some of your sports news now, Sri Lanka's biggest international sporting event, the So Sri Lanka Ironman 70.3, the biggest international sporting event in the island, will get underway on the 24th of this month. A media briefing on the event was held in Colombo today.
The second edition of Ironman 70.3 will be held on the 24th of February. Over 739 world-class athletes from 58 countries will battle it out in the ultimate test of endurance and willpower. The sporting expo named Ironman 70.3 Colombo Expo will be held in prior to the main event. Newsfirst are the official media partners of the event.
An event was organized yesterday to create awareness on the Momentum Youth Expo, which is an educational fair organized by St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia.
The Youth Expo is being organized by the Old Boys Association of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, with the intention of assisting the youth in the country.
The objective of Momentum is to interact with the new generation. We will line up opportunities that they would desire to have.
Momentum talks will be youth leadership seminars, workshops, where top speakers, all renowned leadership speakers will be addressing the youth. Plan this youth expo unlike any other in the country, because at the end of the day it's the youth who will take the country forward.
This exhibition will be held on the 23rd and 24th of February at the BMICH.
The national archery team is currently facing severe difficulties as they are deprived of a place for their practices.
It's been 20 years since we started archery. We train at different places. The government or our union have not given us a rowing course. Because of that, we are missing out on winning any Olympic or South Asian medals as we cannot train together as a team.
South Asian Games September.
The South Asian Games are on September, and later in the year we have Olympic trials. We urge the relevant authorities to provide us necessary facilities and a place to train in order to qualify and win medals for the country.
දක්ෂතම කනිෂ්ඨ ක්‍රීඩිකාව කොළඹ විශාඛා විදුහල හංසනී පියුමිලා කපුගී කියන
Are you the junior sportsman for the year 2018?
Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thanks for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Deshan Gonavala.
Take care and good night.